Hello, Giriraj. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, ma'am. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm totally fine, very well. So, what's going on? Just tell me.
Like, as I've told you that I have cleared class 12th. So now these days in morning I learn English spoken and then I just go to library and prepare for civil service examinations. But ma'am, these days I've been disturbed or I've been pondering about one thing that when we see everything around us, we find that everything is evolving. Like even if we talk about the basic comfort causing commodities, they are evolving. But when we talk about the humans, we are evolving backwards or downgrading.
Okay. Yeah. Basically,
And
we are updating in the things in the materials, but if we see the quality of human, that is getting deteriorated. Is that what you're saying? Why
yeah,
suddenly
like
have you had such kind of realization? Like, what made you think so deep?
recently I watched one video. I came across that, and in that video, a man got stuck in the lift. So he was stuck and he pressed the siren button. And as he pressed the siren, the after hearing it, the guard of that building rushed towards the gate of that lift and he tried opening that. So he could open it in 4 to 5 minutes. And as he
Right.
opened, like what do I expect and what do generally we humans expect? That the person would come out and person would be grateful to him, he would thank him. But the result was totally contradictory. The
Opposite.
person came out and started smashing that guard for no reason.
Okay.
And for like days I've been thinking about this, that whose mistake was it? Was it the mistake of that engineer who built that lift? But then I think that that person would have not wanted that this to happen, that this glitch to
Correct. Correct.
take
Correct.
place, and neither that guard had any involvement in it.
Right. Right.
So it
Right.
was not his
So
mistake either. But when I think about that person did not have, and that it was not even the mistake of that person. That was his state of mind, how much frustration he had, and how quickly
correct.
he
Correct.
got angry. So I've been thinking,
Right. Means basically we see that things are getting updated. We are more sound at materialism, like we are more affluent in materialism. But if we talk about the basic human nature, we see that people used to have true relationships before. Now people are just having this for the sake of just getting some work done. So what do you think is the root cause of it? Like why has it happened? Like we people, like some people who used to live in, we can say in the lacks, like basically they used to have a kind of lacking of everything and they still used to live happy, but still people have got everything that they have wanted, always they have wanted, but still after getting it they're not satisfied, because I think those kind of emotions, basically frustration or anger, these are all the causes of dissatisfaction, right? Means these are the outcomes of dissatisfaction. So what do you think is the root cause that after getting everything we have not been able to achieve that kind of satisfaction in our life?
what do I think is that the root cause could be the education, like the quality of education. We all are going to schools,
Right, exactly.
and but but when we see this education, this is all about just outsourcing. I'm thinking about this, that you go to your parents do not want to take your responsibility, and so they send you to the school, and the school doesn't want to take your responsibility, so they outsource it to the coaching institutions, and coaching institutes outsource it to the online content on their respective platforms. So
Basically
nobody
everybody
is,
is shifting their responsibility, right?
yeah. So in my opinion, education could be the reason, because if it is
Right.
fine, then people can get to know that how they should be.
Exactly. Means education, if they get to know the real meaning of what really education is, what is it for, then obviously the people are going to be transformed, right? But as we see
Yeah.
the education system these days, we all have like seen some kind of loopholes in our education system, and people basically don't differentiate between the words education and qualification. Because if we ask somebody what's your education, he is basically trying to state that okay, I have completed so and so degree from so and so institute and place. But if we ask them what's your qualification, they answer the same. So basically they interchange the words qualification and education. So but there are, as there are two other words as well, like being literate and being educated. So there are two different words, right? So what do you think is the difference between the word education and qualification?
So first, I should tell that how we are taking education as. So
Yeah.
when I see this education system, what's happening? We are just asked to mug up the data. We have to
Exactly.
just mug up that, prioritize that, and then we have to just paste it somewhere. Like they are trying to make it, they are trying to make us compete with the machines.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I feel education is a very broad term. In a way, it includes understanding and skill part. And as you talked about that qualification, first of all, qualification is just the certification of skills that
Correct.
you have some skills.
Right. It does not
So
verify you as a human. We can say that.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
But so we have been taking education, we have been just seeing one dimension of education, that is to acquire skills, and that is not even happening at the level it should have been happening.
Right.
And when I think about the education, that time I feel education is something that can make you a conscious doer or conscious actor. That whatever you do, like let's take a basic example. That if I'm in my home, we eat food 3 times a day. So I've also started eating food 3 times a day. But education is something that would make me realize. Education is something that would make me realize this, that why do I have to have the food?
Exactly.
And
The root
every
cause, the reason behind everything, the purpose of everything, the very purpose of human life. Education is exactly not working for it. Right.
yeah,
Basically,
I
if
think
we, yes, please.
no, I was just saying this, that sometimes I think this, that those people who would have thought about this system, that we should formulate and we should have something that's called education system, and so people would get understanding. So initially they would have also wanted people to understand life, to get acquire skills to sustain their body. But in this process, where would I have it gone wrong? But why has this come to this state where like people have started outsourcing this thing as we talk?
Right. So basically, the reason, are you asking me, or like are you telling the reason?
No, I'm
You
interested
just,
in knowing. Like I've been thinking, but
okay,
I
okay.
haven't been able to get the answer.
Correct, correct. As for me, like where could we go wrong is, as you mentioned, that there are two parts in education. First is on the skill part we have to focus, and the second one is on the humanity or in the on the values. So somewhere we have started taking values in a way as if they are the responsibility of some other people. I have not seen parents talking about values. I have not seen teachers talking about values. We are so much concerned on the one part of our life, that is survival. Like ensure your survival. If you get first in the first position in the class, you're going to get good marks. You're going to get good marks, so you will be getting a good job. If you get a good job, you will be able to ensure your survival. Now what after that? I'm suppose I'm a person who is already having a good qualification and I have got a good job. I have got the the amount that I've always dreamt of, because I was always told to dream of only the amount that I could get after getting a job, right? But nobody told me what after that. So I think that's where
Yeah,
we lack, and that's where we need to work upon, because as we mentioned that there are two parts, we are completely missing out the second part, that is about the values, because we have considered that values are some kind of spiritual thing, and we can think about it later. But as we spend so many years living that life, after that when we start to see the hollowness of that, we
hmm,
directly cannot accept it, right? And when we think of accepting it, a kind of hollow behavior comes out, a kind of void gets created within, and we are not able to accept that, and that causes the frustration, anger that I feel, because we have always
yeah,
been going in that path thinking of that something great is going to come out. But when we face the reality, because basically survival is what? Survival is the initial stage of life that you need to ensure for your body. Now you need to realize that
yeah,
yes, we are something beyond that, so we need some real thing in life. I think that's where the education is lacking. We are not telling students that there is something beyond survival of the body. We need to actually indulge into the reality of life and learn some some real things about life, like what basic life means. Basically, what is the purpose of a human life? That cannot be just to come in this world
right.
and survive and go, right? So I think that's where we have a kind of loophole, and we need to fulfill that. We need to start working on the second part as well. Do you think if you can see a kind of gap, or if you want to add on something, just let me know.
No, like what you said, I totally agree with this. And apart from this, as you were talking that we are just focusing on skills. Like if we see it
Mhm.
from profoundly, if we see it, then we would find like we are not even working on the skill part. If we
Not
are sent
exactly there
to
as well.
if we are sent in school to acquire these skills, then why is government having the need to initiate programs like Skill India and these? If
Correct.
government is having these needs, it means the education
Right,
is not.
right, right.
It seems.
Means I think they are basically working on information. Like this is the information that we have. A person can get information from various sources these days. He does not depend on the books or the teachers to get the information. And these are not what teachers are born for. That's what I feel. Means even teachers are not feeling that responsibility, that we are having a bigger responsibility than just providing information, because a student can get information from anywhere else. There are various sources available in today's era, but we are not realizing it being a teacher, and we feel like, okay, we all have seen our school teachers working for the first day of the month and get the salary and have the survival part ensured, right? We have all seen that. We have all lived that. In our families, we are seeing such examples. So I think that's where the basic thing occurs, that we are not justifying with the purpose of our life. And that's where we kind of be irresponsible for everyone who is like meeting with us on daily basis. If we are not living our life responsibly, that time we are being such a responsible person that we are basically creating a kind of environment in which nobody can learn or nobody can grow, because ultimately if we are here, so we need to have a kind of responsibility. I think responsibility is the key word here that we need to realize. Being as a human, being born as a human, we need to realize the responsibility, right?
Yeah,
So let's
exactly.
let's talk more about education. Yeah, you are saying something, please continue.
I was talking about this that as you were telling about this that about the responsibility. So what could be the reason? What could be the driving force behind someone feeling responsible? So in this, I would like to share that I feel that when you realize that who you are, why you are, that time you feel responsible. This is what
Correct.
we are. What is yeah. So this should be taught to teachers. Like teachers should be knowing this thing, and then teachers should be telling us this part. And otherwise,
Right.
that acquiring the skills could be done on a gadget as well.
Exactly. Means basically, why do we need education? The purpose, why do we need education? That has to be, I think, very much clear. What do you think? Like if somebody asks you that why do we need education in life? If somebody is already affluent, because that's what the very purpose we are telling that education is needed for, that is for survival. So let's say somebody is already very much affluent and he is already insured about his survival part. Does he not need education? What do you think about it?
I guess its answer is simple but hard to understand. Like what we see in this environment now, that as we talked about this, that first is understanding and second is the skill part. So as you said, that if skill part is ensured, then why
Hmm.
to get educated? Then why to get education?
Exactly.
So there, I think that what is the actual purpose of your life? You do not have to just survive. Skill is only ensuring your survival, but one must be knowing that why to survive. If
Hmm.
that gets clear,
Exactly.
and and in my opinion, like why to survive and why to sustain this body and why to work is this, that you understand yourself, that how your body works, and how do you take actions at situations like when you're in traffic and you get frustrated. That
Hmm.
time you cannot have that much conscious thinking that why am I getting frustrated. This is the
Correct.
education that in class can teach you, that how to behave and what is the actual human nature.
Exactly.
Should be
Means
done.
the
And
right. Means the basic thing that you mentioned, that you are very much insured about very much concerned about ensuring the survival part. So what will you do after surviving your this body? That's I think we don't have to see it from a spiritual point of view, because some people might be thinking that okay, life is beyond body or something, so that is a spiritual kind of
Mhm.
thing, we need to think about it. But if they really observe themselves, they would get to realize that this is something they are living in, because your body is, sometimes it happens, all of have means I think all of us have felt this. We are completely fit and fine at times. We are having no disease and everything is fine, but still we don't feel good. We don't feel that energy that we need to get up, we need to get some works done. There is nothing wrong physically, but still we don't feel good. So what is the reason? Who is that thing which is not feeling good within you? So that is you, because you always kept kind of covering or kind of securing your body. You have been so much insured about your body. That is obviously important because that is a part of life. We cannot ignore that as well. That is very much important. But after that, when you feel the dissatisfaction, still if you're feeling the dissatisfaction, I've seen people, like many of my friends are there who have attained that kind of level which they have always dreamt of, like we need to ensure that amount per month. Like many people are there who have achieved that thing which they always thought that this is the ultimate purpose of my life, and now they are very much frustrated even after getting to that level. So that means something is lacking, right? And that's what education is not teaching us. Education simply needs
Yeah.
to tell us that, means it has to bifurcate two things in life. That after getting the survival, you need to work for the very purpose of your life, and we need to find it out. Means we are mentioning the word purpose
Yeah.
again and again. So I think people must be wondering that what is the purpose of our life. So I think when we start to work, means it's not that we have to do social service or anything. Whatever we are doing after
Mhm.
ensuring the survival part, I think that makes us happy. That true thing which makes us happy, the real thing that makes us happy, is something beyond ensuring the survival of your body. So what do you think? If somebody asks us that you guys are talking about the purpose of life, so what would you say the purpose of life is? Because I think that cannot be named as a particular thing or something. When we start to work, that's a
Yeah.
process, right? So like how would you describe it to somebody? Like through education,
I
if we
guess,
can describe. Yeah.
like, as we talked about that void or that emptiness after acquiring whatever we wanted to, if education can fulfill that gap. Like it is the
Hmm.
role of that education to fulfill the gap, and our ultimate purpose seems like every action what I take is for the happiness. So
Exactly.
my aim is also to be happy. So if education make me happy permanently, I feel
Hmm.
that could be the aim of us, and that what actual education can serve us.
Exactly.
And apart from happiness, that I also think that one reason would be that if you are on this planet and we see everything around us complementing each other, so it is also our purpose to complement it. Like one very big misconception that I think it is the biggest misconception among all the misconceptions, that is that we are not the part of the nature, we are just the spectators. So
Yeah.
we need to realize this, that we are part of it, and we see a lot of examples. Like in this body, we have a lot of organs. So if you just put food in your mouth and there is no esophagus, there is no food pipe, then it is just going to fall into your stomach and it may hurt your stomach. It may even
Exactly.
bring a hole in it. So this is how we also need to see ourselves as the part of this nature, and with this we should try to complement it. And the biggest complementarship that we can do is to be us, the
Exactly.
universal us. Yeah.
Correct, correct, correct. Means that is only the, I think, the thing which will make us realize the responsibility of being born as a human, because somewhere we are distracting ourselves or we are keeping ourselves away from the part of nature. And whenever we are told to show the, even if you Google the thing, nature, then only the animals or the trees would be coming, the water falling from the mountain, they will only be shown. So I think we have not understood that, yeah, we are the, we can say, the most evolved creature of this nature, and we need to accept ourselves as the part of nature. Then only we are going to understand the responsibility of being a natural human which can, as you said, that we have to complement the nature. Then only I think the very purpose of education was that only, that education we have limited, confided it to a very limited place, and that's why I think that has created all the problem that we talked about. So obviously, uh, whatever role we are playing in our life as of now, we will keep trying to do it. And as a teacher, I think
Yeah.
I can talk more about it to many people, and that is going to solve the problem. So that's how I think we can conclude this conversation about education. It was very nice talking with you. You can also add on what basically as a
Thank you.
conclusion you're taking.
Thank you so much for being in this class. Like you have given me a lot of clarity about education. And with
Right,
this,
right.
I also feel that from your perspective, you told that like you would work from your side towards education apart from skills. And the skills is important, but making the students realize and realizing self that what is the purpose of life, that is important. And with this, from my side, what I can do is like I should not be just dependent on the schools and all. I am having teachers like you who can help me in realizing that what is the purpose of life and
It's
why am I
absolutely
on.
alike. It's absolutely alike that we are also having students like you that, yeah, who are able to think of such kind of point of view. That's very much important for even a teacher to have such kind of people who he or she can discuss things like this. So yeah,
Yeah, so I,
you were saying something.
yeah, so from my side, I'd be just doing this that I try to be in that aura where that actual education is being taught,
Right, right,
and
right.
where the life is being discussed. I have to be in that aura, and that I get at this. So I feel I would be doing this. And apart from this,
Right, right.
like there is a lot of content that makes you realize who you are. So I would be
Exactly.
working with this, and everything that I would be doing, doing I would be doing it after seeing the actual value of that thing that I would see as that thing exists. So I can do that
Right,
from my
right,
side.
right. So together we obviously can do something very well with the education. So let's hope for the best. It was very nice conversing with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.